I'm having the best day of my entire life.
You look great.
I'm feeling great. I had a little health ordeal. I survived. And there was people saying I wasn't going to. Yeah, knees are still bad. I can't go up downstairs, but other than that, I'm fine.
You got technology for that.
Yeah, it is. Michael Matt's in the house. Michael, how long have we been knowing each other? 30 years. I trained you as an F&I manager originally, didn't I? Now you're a general manager? Yeah. Fantastic. Car Guru's in the house back there. I'm particularly excited to have Car Gurus here. Marty Blue from Car Gurus is going to be speaking because if you Google up just about any combination, Car Gurus is always coming right up on the top, and she's going to divulge how they do that. It's something to be learned. Overtake Digital in the house back there. That is one really good-looking booth. I love that booth. Kashi, you doing okay this morning?
So good, thank you.
CF Search Marketing in the house. Sitting next to Craig Farmer, one of the most competent guys in the industry. True Car's in the house, but Carrie's not here yet. Okay. Everybody make it a point to stop by and visit the sponsors, if you would, please. There she is, Rhonda. Rhonda's in the house.
Good morning.
Okay, about 5 minutes till showtime. I generally give myself the first speaking slot in deference to the other speakers because, frankly, a lot of people show up late and I'm speaking to a half-filled room. By the time the first speech is done, the rest of them finally arrive. They're stuck in traffic or doing whatever they did. Incentive Fox in the back of the room. Be sure to check out what they do and who they are. Quick Connect. I love Quick Connect. When do you see what they do? You know, when a lead provider sends you a lead, they generally send that lead to 5 other dealers at the same time. And they've got all kinds of other dealers on the sidebar. You know how that goes. Well, Quick Connect will connect if there's a phone number in the form they filled out, it'll dial that phone number to your dealership and put you in touch with that customer in 30 seconds. When the other dealers are still farting around trying to catch up with it. So be sure to check out Quick Connect while you're here. Okay, we've got Trade-In Valet. The guys from Trade-In Valet, incredible. They will guarantee the value on the trade on the telephone, on your website. They'll pay it. And it's usually more than you put on the trade yourself. So if you have trouble putting a deal together, they will put deals together that you can't put together yourself. So be sure to visit Trade-In Valet. Okay, Automotive Mastermind. One of the things I'm going to talk about when I get into my presentation is data mining, equity mining, and they're two different things. There's a lot of people out there doing equity mining and passing it off as data mining. Data mining is so much more than just equity. They are probably the premier service. You need to check out what they do, what they offer, and you probably know a couple of their competitors. I'm not going to name them because they've sponsored my previous events, wouldn't be fair. But anyway. Morning. We are absolutely thrilled you're here. This is Battle Plan 24. People ask me, Jim, how long have you been doing this? We just started in the seminar conference business about 30 years ago. I've done hundreds of F&I sales manager seminars. I've done countless speeches. I have been the keynote speaker for 98 state dealer conventions. Not a speaker, the keynote speaker. The opening keynote speaker for 98 state conventions. I've done New Jersey like 4 times, Texas 4 times, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. You know, I've repeated a lot of them. I've been a speaker at 14 NADA conventions. And I told NADA a couple years ago I'm not going to do it anymore. NADA runs you ragged on those speeches. They said, well, you need exposure. I said, well, shit, they don't know who I am. I don't need to know them. I'm fresh out of needing exposure, you know. So, anyway, C4 Analytics in the house. I am just finding out about these guys, and everything I'm finding out is awesome. You need to check out C4 Analytics. I mean, they were a latecomer, and I didn't really have a lot of familiarity with their company. I am just thrilled that they're part of Internet Battle Plan. ZMOT. ZMOT, my good friend Eric Gale is going to be speaking. They are the #1 e-commerce dealer in the world. They sell more cars on the internet than any other group of car dealers in the world. Maybe the universe. They might sell cars on other planets. I mean, ZMOT, check them out because they are. Eric has spoken at, I don't know, 5 or 6 battle plans, never repeated a subject. You know, sometimes you go to these conferences and the speaker just changed the title on something they've been speaking about forever. You know, but Eric prepares a brand new presentation for every battle plan. The next battle plan is going to be in Clearwater, Florida. And it's going to be in February. We haven't put the exact date. Oh, Christy, haven't put the exact date on it yet. But it's going to be awesome. Clearwater, Florida, we did one in February. We had 200 attendees. This one's going to have about 100. So, to show you the difference. Something about Clearwater, Florida in February that draws a great northern crowd. something that brings them in. The speakers, I'm not going to name all the speakers. Hello, Jimmy Bradford. I didn't see you over there. We got, right after me, we got one of my favorite people in the world, Tony Ann Lupo Fardet. Tony Ann, the $1 billion girl. Why is she the $1 billion girl? Because she ran a $1 billion BDC. She just left it 3 months ago. And you're talking about women power. You notice that 40% of my speakers on this thing are women. I mean, I don't see that in a lot of conferences where that high a percentage. There are so many great, competent women like Bobby Herron. The bee's knees. Stand up, Bobby.
Sure.
This woman is phenomenal.
Hello, everyone.
I mean, I'm telling you, when she speaks, make notes and do what she says. She can turn a dealership on. She's held every position, including general manager. My virus scan decided to run a scan right now. I'm not going to let that happen. Quit. There we go. Am I on? Welcome to Battle Plan. I'm Jim Ziegler. I'm the best there is at what I do. I'm not one of the best. I'm absolutely the very best. Don't particularly care if you believe that. I've cashed your checks. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to talk about something. Through the years, I've got a reputation for growing dealerships to the big numbers. I'll take a dealership from 100 units to 500 units. I've taken dealerships from 400 to 1,000. When I was with Dyer & Dyer Volvo, when I was actually in the retail business, we went from 40 units to 850 units in a year and a half. I don't claim that I did all that. I was just one of the managers of 5 managers, but I was a participant in that. I was part of that magic. We were the first dealership in the world to do $1 million in 1 month at F&I, May of '84. When I was with Potamkin, my Cadillac store was selling 500 units a month, 9 out of 12. So like I say, I've got a reputation well documented for growing dealerships to the big numbers. Let's talk about how you grow dealerships to the big numbers. What if I bought your dealership? What would I change? What would be different? Well, the first thing, when I was a manager, one of my stores was in the hood. And one of the residents of the hood, that convicted felon on my sales force, he named me Darth Vader. And then in the hood, they sort of shortened that out. So for the last couple of years of my career, I was Vader, because I was a tough manager. Tough, but fair. What would I do if I bought your dealership? Well, let's look at the scenario here. I say let's look at it. Advance that slide. There it is. They just called a meeting in your dealership. All the employees are gathered around in the showroom. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumor. And the dealer walks out to the front of the room, and he or she starts talking about how they started this company 20 years ago. They spend the next 15 or 20 minutes telling you how much she loves each one of you. You know some bad shit's about to happen. Something's going down. People are fidgeting, they're looking at each other. We know where this is heading. The old bastard's retiring. His kids are walking brain dead. He's got no exit plan to get out of the dealership, no confident heirs, this particular dealer. I'm not making fun of second-generation dealers. I do business with a lot of second, third-generation dealers now. I've got dealers I do business with today that I started doing business with their grandparents. So understand, I have nothing against second-generation dealers, third-generation dealers. Some of them are very competent, others are members of the Lucky Sperm Club. They ran a race for 5 million other sperm cells once, haven't won a damn thing since. So, this dealer's got a paid-off boat, a condo in Florida, an offshore account, paid for by service contract packs. The dealer's just been sold, and the new owner, Jim Ziegler, from Atlanta, Georgia, is about to take over. What would he do first? Well, when I get involved with a dealership, and I'm involved in growing a dealership to the big numbers, first thing I say is you do not have to sneak up on the big numbers. Most dealers make a mistake of trying to slowly grow a dealership to the big numbers. Well, I don't want to upset my people. We'll do it gradually. No, I'm going to do it all at once, blow the place up, and put it back together again. Let's make this as short as possible. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire the mutineers. Every time I get involved in a dealership, the mutineers come up. Here I'm hired as a consultant. Here comes the mutineers. They've already had a little bathroom meeting about that. They know their managers are going to go back to the shit they used to do after I leave. They're all confident. We've seen these consultants come and go. As soon as he leaves, we're going to go back to what we used to do. I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to fire the mutineers and give them a bad reference. And then I'm going to look at the facility. There are certain things on this slide, and you can have the slide presentation later. Facility. Is this facility conducive to selling cars? Are these units displayed? Who here has a Ford dealership? Ford. Okay. Mike, you're a dealer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How long have you been doing business?
Since 1990.
Since 1990. I've been, and you're a pretty big volume Ford store, aren't you?
Medium size.
Medium size. More than 200?
No.
No, okay. But Baton Rouge, Louisiana is not New York either. Okay. Where are your trucks parked?
Our trucks are, unfortunately, they're parked behind our used cars because we have a display problem.
Okay.
Space problem.
Most Ford dealers have their trucks on the street. Most Chevrolet dealers have their trucks. Most Nissan dealers, most Toyota. Trucks are not frontline vehicles. You're going to put your highest altitude vehicles and block the view of the lot, and you're going to park them 18 inches apart where nobody can see the cars. They're going to see headlights. I've seen some dealers get real creative and show them taillights. So what do you got? I'm going to display my cars. Trucks are second line merchandise. What goes on the front row? Off-brand merchandise, stuff that you don't expect to find at pick on you again. What is the most unusual vehicle that you've got on your Ford store that's not your brand? You have a Lexus. Somewhere in Baton Rouge, Louisiana today, somebody woke up and said, I think I'm going to buy a Lexus. Let's go buy the Ford place. You think that's going to happen? I don't think so. So what's going to happen, I'm going to put that vehicle on an elevated ramp. I'm going to light it up. Off-brand merchandise that will be featured and displayed on my front line. Things that people do not expect to find at my dealership. That's my front line merchandise, Jimmy. Trucks on the second line. Processes and training. The road to the sale didn't die. The road to the sale evolved. And we put technology into the road to the sale. There's two schools. There's the old school, new school. In every dealership, I'm telling you right now, there's just school. I am 71 years old. I don't mind telling people that. And I'm teaching young people internet. Because I evolved with the times. That makes good sense. Evolution of the road to the sale, we just injected technology. The showroom is now your website. Google is the weapon. Understand that. It changed, it evolved, but it's still a road to the sale, and there's still a process, and everybody must follow a process. And if they won't follow the process, they can't stay here. Training. In the car business, we don't have a knowing problem, we have a doing problem. Every dealership I go to, first thing, some old timer will sidle up to me and say, let me tell you how we do business here. Do you think they hired me because they think you're doing a good job? You're not going to bring an award-winning chef into your dealership and change the recipe. Let me tell you how we're going to do business. Because managers today don't know how to be managers. They don't know how to be supervisors. They don't know how to be leaders. There's three parts to a management job. I am a professional manager. I'm a world record-setting manager, and that's why. Training. Training is only part of it. Now we've got to make them do what we trained. Do you teach people in your dealership say, welcome to the dealership? I bet you $100 I can find somebody not saying that. You want to go with it? No. So, what is your position? Okay, you're a salesman. Okay, who's your manager? Could I catch somebody in your dealership saying something other than welcome? Absolutely. Okay, so let me examine your management skills. You can't get them to say welcome, so I'm going to assume they're not doing the complicated shit. You're teaching them to say welcome, but they're not doing it. I'm not a fanatic about the word welcome, but if I teach it, it's going to happen. Does that make sense? Stop teaching things that you don't do. When I got my first contract with Ford Motor Company 30 something years ago, Ford awarded me $1 million contract. And one of the vice presidents of Ford said, Mr. Ziegler, why does your stuff work? You're teaching the same stuff everybody else teaches. Road to the sale, negotiation technique, word tracks. Why does your stuff work? We've got other companies that teach the same thing and their stuff doesn't work. And I looked Mr. Dick Fenstermacher, Vice President of Ford, right in the eye and said, because we really do what we teach. Managers have got to learn to do what you teach. And you don't put exceptions out there. Everybody's got that one salesperson that thinks they're bulletproof and invisible, and they get away with things that you wouldn't let the other salespeople get away with. I have fired more of those people with a bad reference than you can shake a stick at. Damn, Jim, the man sells 20 cars a month. I'm going to get 5 green peas to sell 4 and replace them. And give him a bad reference. Staffing. Most dealerships are understaffed to sell the number of cars you're capable of selling. Most dealerships don't have enough people. You can beat your salespeople. You can tell them there's a guy here in Detroit that sold 100 units a month, but that's not most of them. Most of them are going to come in at 8. Goodman's going to come in at 12. But if you've got a whole bunch of people selling 20, you're missing deals. because business is not dear enough to them. Business doesn't mean enough to them when they can sell 20 automatically, because everybody is not a 20-car salesperson. Some people are. But when they all start selling 20, you are understaffed. Inventory. Due diligence. I hate Viato. I love Viato. I love Viato. I hate Viato. I don't use Viato the way they tell me to use it. I'm not going to cheap price my cars. I want to give a used car a fighting chance to make a profit. You know, customers, most customers, we're talking into the 80s and 90s of percentages. Now, I hate people that quote statistics from the stage. 87.6%. There's Joe Verdi's. Okay, write this number down. 93.4%. 93.4% of all statistics quoted by Joe Verdi are made up on the spot. I hate people that make up statistics. But I'm going to say into the 80s and 90s of percentages. Somewhere in there, customers do not get the car they thought they were going to get when they leave the house. Don't worry about the car they came in on. They're going to end up with something else. If you've already cheap priced that car too, then you're screwed. Give a used car a fighting chance to make a profit. Vendors. I will be firing some vendors. Matter of fact, if I buy the dealership, I'm going to fire all the vendors. And then interview them to hire them back. Because I'll guarantee you there are vendors that are charging one price to this dealer and thousands more to the dealer right across the street. I own a website that I have not yet published called findoutwhatotherdealerspaid.com. I own that URL. You could go to GoDaddy and it says I own it. Findoutwhatotherdealerspaid.com. I've been threatening to start a website where we start reporting what we're paying vendors. That sent a cold shiver up many people's spines. You know, they're going to start conferring with each other. CRM, I'm going to probably change companies. CRM is the most important thing in your dealership. CRM rules. Matter of fact, the billion-dollar girl, Tony Ann Lupo Farget's going to be talking about that right after I'm off the stage. Legislate the CRM. I'm going to tell you right now, when I went into Barrington to Motorworks, anybody familiar with Motorworks in Barrington, Illinois? One of the biggest Highline dealerships in the world, selling 500 Highlines a month at $4,500 a copy. I went in there about 8 years ago, and I improved that dealership several $million annually, and it was already a machine. There's only two things I did in that dealership. I had the full support of the owner and the general manager. We put processes in there. The Mercedes manager said, we don't put processes on Mercedes customers. Yes, we do. And the second thing I did is we legislated the CRM. Nobody is immune from using the CRM in that dealership. We went to 100% CRM usage. And I mean, if they didn't use that part of the CRM, we took it out. Get with the people. See, the CRM companies right now are programming to what their geeks think you should do. Now, I love geeks. There's a lot of people in this audience who are geeks. I love you guys. But, you know, geeks were not always held in as high esteem as we hold them today. When I was in school, we gave them wedgies and swirlies. You know, now geeks are the gods in the business. So if you're a geek, I applaud you. But the thing is, we have to understand that the people programming your CRMs have got to program them for the way we do business, not to change the way we do business. So one thing I did with Barrington is we had the CRM company reprogram and take things out that we didn't use. If there's something in your CRM that you're never going to use, take it out of the program. They can do that. They will do that. Website. We're probably going to change website companies. That website doesn't load in 3 seconds, they're out of here. That website isn't SEO, SEM maximized, they're out of here. Some of you have a very popular website company. I'm not going to mention their name. They're endorsed by the manufacturers. See the kids? But anyway, so many of you have a very popular website company. I want you to go to anything on the front screen that isn't flash. And right-click on anything that isn't flash. And it'll bring up a little menu. Go to View Source on that little menu. And then you're going to find out that some of these website companies that are mandated by the manufacturers have 31 lines of blank script before SEO starts. That's done on purpose to give you an advantage over your competitor. 31 blank lines of script before anything starts. Check it out. Jen, did you just go to a General Motors website?
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to be very attentive to what website company I'm using. BDC Internet, I'm a believer in BDC Internet. We're going to have a business development center. And my business development center manager is going to be a car person with authority to make a deal. My BDC is going to have authority to make a deal and not have to check with a sales manager unless they choose to. I want a BDC that can do business. Do I still have a job? I'm going to make everybody interview for their jobs back. I'm a new corporation. I didn't buy the old corporation. Non-performers, bad attitudes, chronic complainers, people with poor attendance, late problems are not eligible to be rehired. You got a bad attitude, you're out of here regardless of your production. I fire bad attitudes. We do not award participation trophies. I have performance-driven, performance pay plans, performance promotion. Yeah, that's one thing I want to be absolutely sure. Performance rules. Well, my son, Zachary Ziegler, does that name have testosterone in it? You want to see a kid named Zach Ziegler toe dancing on Broadway, right? Yeah. Zach Ziegler, I put a testosterone in that name. When Zach Ziegler was like 7 or 6 years old, I don't know how old, T-ball. He played T-ball. Little kid hits the ball off a stick. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, T-ball. He was a pretty good little T-ball player. But unfortunately, at the end of the summer, the coach got every little kid, had hot dogs at a pool party, Coca-Colas. He got every little kid up there and said good things about the little kid and gave him a little trophy. Including the little bastard that filled his glove up with dirt, pissed in center field in front of all the parents. Little loser kids don't deserve a trophy. We give all these little loser kids trophies. Quit it. Then 15 years later, you got them on the sales force showing up looking for a damn trophy. We do not award participation trophies. Cover your weakness. I know what I am not good at. I was a world record-setting manager, F&I and general sales manager, but I never was a general manager because I don't know fixed operations and I don't care to learn fixed operations. I know my weakness, so if I bought a dealership, I'm going to have to hire fixed operations consultants, fixed operation experts. I'm going to join a 20 group. I believe dealers should join a 20 group. I didn't say a golf group, I said a 20 group. I want to join a 20 group that is a working 20 group. NADA or NCM, I sort of favor NCM for what they're doing. We're going to have a business meeting every day in my dealership. Daily Save a Deal meeting every single day. All department heads are present. We're going to go over deals that are working. When I was with Dyer & Dyer Volvo and we went from 40 to 850 units a month, every single day we called every customer that was in yesterday, a manager, not a salesperson. Every day. If they didn't buy a car and they were capable of buying a car, a manager was on the phone with them within 24 hours. A manager capable of making a decision within 24 hours. I want a daily doc, a daily operating report, hand-generated, right out of CRM. I don't want one that lags behind 2 or 3 days. high conversion, responsive website. A dealer's highest priority is two things, CRM and a kick-ass website. Those are the two things that I would have as a top priority if I bought a dealership. And if it's one of those manufacturer mandated websites that is not performing, I will have a second company as my primary website provider. Somebody like Ramore in the back of the room. And Christian, is Christian speaking today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Christian Jordan, don't miss Christian Jordan speaking. And watch him stand on stage and work a Rubik's Cube in 45 seconds. Am I lying? No. Secondary website. I'm looking for fast loading website, SEO maximized every page. SEO doesn't end on the home page. I want every page. And you know what else? Some of you have great desktop websites, but your mobile websites suck. Check out your mobile website. Is it as responsive and good as your desktop website? Originality and market exclusivity. I don't want the same cookie cutter website everybody else in the market has. I was consulting a dealership in Phoenix, Arizona, a Chevy dealership, and their website had their competitor's phone number on it. The cookie cutter website people forgot to change the phone number from website to website. Website, I want your references. Give me your top 10 references. Now I'll give you 10 more. Give me the 10 you didn't give me. I know the ones, the bell cows you gave me your best references. Cut off the data suckers. Get the data suckers out of your computers. I audited a dealer right here in Detroit, a Chrysler dealer. 79 vendors were extracting data out of his computer, including mail sale companies that he hadn't done business with in years. And they were still taking data out of his computer. I have a program on my computer that tells me what cookies are being exported off and pixels off of my computer. Do you know you've got major website companies right now selling your customer data at Amazon.com? Is anybody aware of that besides me? I know you are, Jen. People you are paying to build your website are selling your customer information to Amazon. Check it out. Get with your website provider and find out who information is being exported to. Same thing with your CRM. Same thing with your website, your DMS. Find out. You know, I've seen service managers sign over information out of the DMS. Look at the EULA agreement on every vendor you do business with. EULA, E-U-L-A, End User Licensing Agreement. Every vendor has a EULA agreement, E-U-L-A. It's part of your big 20-page contract. And some of the vendors you're signing contracts with give them right to sell your data to other vendors, to other Detroit Trading Company. I mean, you'd be amazed on EULA agreements some of you signed. Before you sign a contract with a vendor, read the EULA agreement. It says that they can repurpose and resell your information. I'm going to get the data suckers out of my computer. Advances this slide. There we go. I'm going to quantify and solidify the selling system. Exactly what is the selling system? 30 years ago, it was simple. Meet and greet your customer, establish relationships, select the vehicle, present the vehicle, demonstrate the vehicle, inspect the trade-in with the customer, negotiate, write up the deal, TO to finance, quality turnover, and deliver the car and follow up. 11 steps. That's the way we all grew up. Okay, we've inserted technology into that road to the sale now, but the steps haven't changed. It's just where they happen and where the customer lands, where we do the meet and greet. but the system still exists. Training. Constant and ongoing training program. When I was working with Lynn Hickey Dodge in Oklahoma City in the 80s or the 90s, in 1994, Lynn Hickey sold 2,817 units retail. That's still the Guinness Book of World Records. I was on site. I don't take responsibility for that. They were selling 1,400 units every month before they met me. And I think they still would have sold the 2,800 units that month had they not met me. But I taught them how to make a profit on those units. You don't have to give up gross to have volume to have CSI. You can have gross, you can have CSI, you can have volume if you have good processes. You don't have to give up any unit sales to have gross. And they all won't have gross. Yeah, when I penciled a deal, I had a customer say, "What do you think I am, an idiot?" I said, "Well, sir, if you were, I did not want to miss an opportunity." That was a test. Training. Constant and ongoing training. Lynn Hickey Dodge trained those salespeople and managers every single day. You know who I like to see do management meetings? Does everybody know El Patron? Rudy, stand up, please. If you haven't seen this guy online, he's the real deal.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
First time I saw El Patron, he certainly one of the most well-dressed people on the internet.
The best dressed man.
Okay. First time I saw El Patron on the internet, I said, "What the shit?" Then I checked him out. When you sell 400 units a month at a Mitsubishi store, you are the real deal. Anybody who wants to know El Patron, I'm proud to call him my friend. You know, just tell you that right now. And that wasn't like an instant thing. He sort of an acquired taste. We don't have a knowing problem, we have a doing problem. People have already been trained, they got to do what they're trained. Two sayings when I was a manager. We don't have a knowing problem, we have a doing problem. We don't have a what problem, we have a when problem. Don't tell me what unless you can tell me when. Because in the car business, we get all fired. "I'm going to do this shit, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this." And I look at him and say, "When? Tell me exactly when so I can put it in my daytime at the time. Tell me when you're going to do that so I can check back with you when it's completed." And managers generally stall on that because we got a bunch of whats, we don't have a bunch of whens. Anytime one of your employees tells you what, you say when, and you make a note of it, and you hold them accountable for that when. People say, "Well, Ziegler, you set world records." Yeah, I set world records, and they're well documented. But not because I'm smarter than anybody else, because I did things other people would not do. That makes sense? I'm doing the same things you profess to do. But we really did it, like I told the Vice President at Ford. We really did what we said we did. You'd call me Darth Vader all day long, but I was getting it done. Marry your CRM. I coined that phrase a couple years ago. Your CRM rules. Now, the very best CRM in the country, I would never use. I'm not going to say their name. They're owned by a big conglomerate that owns a whole bunch of other companies.
Bingo.
I would never use their CRM, even though it's probably the best in the world, because it crashes at the end of every month and they have crappy support. Remember, when you buy a vendor, you got to know how their support is. You got to know how often they crash. How good is their technology? When you've got the best CRM in the country, it's worthless because it crashes at the end of every month. If I'm making good sense. What is their response time when I need changes made? Response time is all important. Is the CRM customizable to our culture? Or is the CRM trying to change our culture to their perception? I am in tears. One of my favorite CRMs, I'm not going to name this one for sure, but one of the best CRMs in the market got all involved with a new program where they were going to change the car business. And they fired all the old car people. And they brought people that didn't know anything about what we do. And they're trying to sell that program to us. And that company has just fallen apart in the last year. One of the best CRM companies in the country trying to change our culture. Do they have a legally compliant texting program? You've got to have legally compliant texting if you're going to do business today. Do you have any emails in your email box that have not been answered? A bunch of them? How many texts do you have that you didn't answer? None. Think about that. Email marketing, you got a whole email box full of shit that you didn't even answer. It's all mixed in with spam. You can't tell what's real and what's not. When somebody sends you a text, you reply. Texting is what you have to do to market today. And your CRM has to be legally compliant because there's a lot of pitfalls, opt in, opt out all the time. I mean, you got to be there. Is it legally compliant? Data mining, equity mining, and text marketing. Three things you need to be involved in. You absolutely need to see Automotive Mastermind in the back of the room. Because they've got all of that, don't you? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Want to be sure. Rhonda, you have all of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Data mining, equity mining, and text marketing, you got to have it. I love that. All outside vendors are fired. Show me the ROI. Well, Jim, we have attribution. Attribution, that is pure bullshit. You buy an attribution, you fools. They're coming up with these attribution reports. Every attribution company out there that specializes in attribution is bogus. They're paid to make attribution, make their client look favorable, and that's what they're selling you. Wake up and smell the coffee. There's only one true measurement, Google Analytics. Google is the only true measurement. Never trust statistics about a vendor supplied by the vendor or somebody that the vendor hired. There are so many bogus. You're laughing. Am I telling the truth?
Yeah, you could skew the numbers however you want them to be.
I've seen the same company tell a vendor that 79% of their business came from a source, and they came back and told that same vendor 79% came from another source. Quit it. Don't be selling me no damn VDPs, SRPs. Don't tell me about your attribution and influence. No, show me the ROI. Show me the money. Show me the cars you sold. I'm going to hire a full-time SEO company. I'm going to hire a company to manage my SEO. Where's Fanicky today?
Traveling here.
He's traveling here? Okay. You're going to get to meet Dave Spanicky as soon as he gets here. I'm going to hire a full services advertising agency, an SEO company, and I'm going to hire a social media company. Your very best source, ROI per expenditure right now is Facebook marketing. Facebook marketing will outperform Google AdWords for the amount of money you spend on it. Anybody want to disagree with that? Facebook marketing and Facebook Marketplace is now live. I mean, there are things you can do on Facebook that are incredible. Most people here are here today because you were sold by me on Facebook. Most of the people in this audience, I sold you on Facebook. Hire a social media company. You're not good at it, and they're cheaper than your own time. I pay vendors for results. Now's that time. I've got about 7 more minutes. I finished up on time perfectly. What questions does anybody have of me? Anything at all? not going to ever say a specific vendor because I have allegiance to a lot of vendors I do business with. It wouldn't be fair. In private, I'd probably tell you. Hey, you're not going to get a dishonest answer out of me. Ask me a question.
How would you about?
Thank you. What's the best way for you to recruit the best people in the industry?
How do you recruit the best people? Well, we have recruited people. I started out as a recruiting company before I got the contract with Ford. I made a brochure up why you would work for this dealership. And it was a really great brochure, and I always had, all my managers had them in their pockets. We get a good waiter, we get a good, the short answer could be recruiting. You get better people by recruiting, having your people recruit them. And we're swimming in a sea of opportunity. There's people all around us. And the reason people don't apply for a car job is they don't believe they can make any money. And some dealerships that's become true, unfortunately. But, you know, I was a $200,000 a year employee of car dealers 20 years ago, so I don't understand that. So, anyway, recruiting is the answer. Pay your people to recruit. Everywhere you go, you get good service out of somebody, ask them if they'd like a job, talk to them. Ed Bozarth, the dealer I worked with for 25 years out in Denver and Las Vegas, big Chevrolet dealer, every one of his stores sells 400 units. He has a video, why you would work for Ed Bozarth Chevrolet. It's on a disc, and he would give that video to people that applied for the job. Take this home to your wife or husband and share it. It would talk about the family life, and the managers would talk about how they started as a salesperson, became a manager, and showed their house and their children and their lifestyle. It was really a good video. And everybody that applied for a job with Ed Bozarth got a copy of it. Take this home to your spouse. And it was really a family buy-in. It was really a great idea. Questions? Yes, sir.
How long do you follow up on a lead, especially if you're not getting any response back from that?
How long do you follow up with a lead? That's a great question. I'll tell you why. Right now, what CRM do you use?
Promax.
Promax. That's interesting. I'm one of the people that helped develop Promax. John Palmer came to me in 1991, I don't know, 88, something like that. He was a manager at Bill Chevrolet, and he was a student of my training. I mean, he was really just a super manager. He said, Jim, I've invented a new program. I said, what is it? He said, it's Promax. And I paid all these people to develop it, and it's got all your stuff in it. I said, okay, so follow up, you have Promax. Right now, in your CRM, you've got thousands of dead leads. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Some of you have 50,000 dead leads in your CRM. You're not working those leads anymore. You let them die. Those are living, breathing human beings in your market. Those are real people that tried to buy a car from you once. Maybe they bought somewhere else. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't buy, couldn't buy. People's credit changes. We used to call people bugs, roaches, deadbeats, credit criminals. Remember that? We don't do that anymore. Credit challenged, equity impaired. I love people with damaged credit. One thing about them, though, they know who they are. They've received mail about them, seen tow trucks skulking around their driveway. Right? But don't ever sympathize with somebody with bad credit. Look, pal, I'm trying to help you lose that attitude. I personally didn't buy all that shit you didn't pay for. It wasn't me. I'll get you out of it, but understand, you got yourself into it. To answer your question, how long do you follow up with the lead? Forever. But you have to follow them up with technology after you physically follow up with them. I want to follow up with a lead for 60 days physically with graduated terms. But after 60 days, I need a technology that follows up with them forever. because you've got that 50,000 dead leads in your CRM. Those people can still buy, they're still out there, they still live in your neighborhood, they still like your product, they're still service customers, they're still available to you. And you've let them just die, and you paid for them, and they're sitting there in your CRM.